welcome to my Scrappin space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And I have a really pretty card to share with you from the Traditions of Christmas suite. I'm going to get my face out of the way and we're going to talk paper crafting. There we go. Traditions of Christmas is a double suite in the current September to December mini catalog. And there's a lot in there. There's dies, there's an embossing folder, which I'm not using for this card, 2 stamp sets. All we're going to focus on right now is the paper, because the paper in itself is stunning. So the paper, each paper has a Christmas print with gold on one side, and then more of a matte. And these background pieces, wow, they are not limited to Christmas. And sometimes you've got a pack you love to make Christmas cards with, and then you have some pieces left over. You'd be able to use these back sides for lots of projects. So let me show you what we're doing today. Here's our card. Isn't that pretty? And this card, I made into a Christmas card. We made this card in class this month, and a number of people didn't want Merry Christmas. They put a birthday in it, and I thought, that's a great idea. I have a lot of December birthdays. So I'm going to show you how I made it. I want to point out here that we have embossing on half the card, and I am not using the embossing folder that goes with this suite. I am using this beautiful Peaceful Greenery embossing folder that's meant to have something in the center, but we're going to do something else with it. So I'm going to get these pieces out of the way. I'll leave this up here so you can see what we're making. And taking the colors from the Stampin' Up colors listed on the back of the paper pack, I knew I was going to use real red, which is like, it really should be called Christmas red, but then it wouldn't have the alliteration, so could it really be a Stampin' Up color? And I'm going to make a nice fold, maybe, you know, I'm sure that doesn't happen to you as you go to do something, the tool you're looking for is not there. I just came home from, I spent 2 days this past weekend crafting with my team. Oh, talk about being good for your soul and getting lots done and lots of laughter, but I'm still putting stuff away. So I was looking for my bone folder, and I'm sure it's not in one of the piles yet to be put away. So before we do anything else, let's talk about this Peaceful Greenery embossing folder. When I get an embossing folder, I label it with my little, label maker, and I put this 1 in 4 means with the cut and emboss system, I'm going to use plates 1 and 4. Let's do that first. Now you probably want it straighter than I have it here. And Stampin' Up makes it easy for me because they add that black line at the bottom. We're going to get this out of the way and grab our cut and emboss machine. And I need plates 1 and 4. You always use plate 1. That's this one. And plate 4 is when you use what are called the 3D embossing folders, like see how thick that is? That's what you want plate 4. And that is easy because that's the gray one. All of the plates are numbered for you though. So I want plate 4. And I always want to make sure I have a plate on top, whether I'm die cutting or embossing. That protects what I'm sending through the machine, and it protects the machine. And then we're just going to roll it through like this. And it should roll just that easily. Okay. Then we're going to grab our paper cutter. Yeah, not usually the next step after embossing, is it? But I want to show you what we did with this, or what I did with this for class. I'm going to cut it in half. So each of these that I embossed, I get 2 card fronts from. So this is 4 inches, so I'm going to cut it right at 2 inches, which takes it right through the center of this embossed piece. And just a little paper cutting reminder, there's a lip at the top of your paper cutter, regardless of the brand. And I'm using the Stampin' Up one because I love that. I'm holding it tight against that lip, and I'm taking my cutting blade, which is the dark blade on the Stampin' Up, and I'm going to push in the same direction. So we're working all together here. This is pushed up against there, and we're cutting in that direction. I have 2 card fronts. How easy is that? You know, it's great, especially if you're making a lot of one card, to be able to have something done twice, have it done at once. Okay, let's assemble our card. I'm going to take, now you want this, see this open spot here? We're going to cover that up. So one of these gets turned around because you want both of them to going that way. This we're going to set aside the next time I'm making this card, which might be this afternoon. I like this card, and I'll be just amazed as I actually get a head start on Christmas cards. I bet some of you watching not only have a head start, you might be done. And I know some of you other ones are still looking at the September to December mini catalog and deciding what you're going to make. Now, this is going to go here. Just like that. Now, if you get this far, you might think, Joni, that isn't doing much for me. I get that. And my lighting isn't doing much for you. But see how I just have half of an embossed front? Okay, the next thing we're going to do is grab this very pretty ribbon. Isn't that gorgeous? That comes from Painterly Pears Suite, which is an online exclusive. And I love the suite. I created so much with it. But I saw this ribbon and it said Christmas to me. So I'm going to make it just a little bit longer. So if this is 5 1/4, I'm probably cutting it, oh, maybe 6 inches. But you know, it doesn't. You just want to wrap it around. Then here's what I'm doing because I want it to be straight. I can, just a second, I'm grabbing a couple things here. It is just the width of the tear and tape ribbon, which is always my first. But if you are not a fan of lining it up, you could put glue dots on the back of here. But let me show you how I apply the tear and tape. And I want the darker green side rather than the gold, but that would be pretty too. The trick to attaching tear and tape to your ribbon is to leave it on the roll. So I'm going to just set it here. And then I'm going to very carefully, I'm kind of pulling the tape tight as I go, and I'm setting it right on the ribbon, just like that. Now the other trick is, if you have it, do it on your glass mat, because I use the grid paper in class and we really like it, and we use the glass mats too now I'm thinking about it. But when I would do this with the paper, using the grid paper, it would rip. But watch what happens here. So we're going to lift it up from the, pull the backing from the tear and tape. There we go. And then I'm going to go sideways just because it's easier for me to line up. I'm going to set this right over that transition point where my embossed side meets the other side. And I'm setting it down, okay? So because I'm using a glass mat, I just lift it up. Nothing rips, nothing tears, and I just move it to the back. Okay, now this can go on that card base that we folded. This would be a great card to make multiples of for Christmas. 1, I think it's a really pretty card. And 2, it would be easy to do it in steps. So you could emboss all those card fronts and cut them in half, knowing you'd only have to do half as many. So let's say you were doing 100 cards. You'd only emboss 50 of these and cut them in half. Another night you could cut all your paper. So I am attaching this small print. One of the things I love about the prints in this paper pack is you have some choices. Some are larger than others. This is one of the larger prints, and that's what you want. Kind of go center stage there. I'm going to attach that here. Now, numbers like, what size is that, Matt, Joni? What size is that? All that's on my Scrappin with Joni blog post. There we go. And I'll link it under the video for you so you can just click on it. I'm now going to grab some dimensionals. My gosh, I have all kinds of partial sheets here. Let's see what we can grab to use. Here we go. Yep. And I'm going to be pretty generous. I want it to pop up, so I'm going to do 3 on each side. If you're not familiar with dimensionals, they come off the sheet sticky. This is my little backing bowl, my little trash bowl. My friend Jennifer taught me that. I usually would just take them off and flip them to the side. But she's right. If you contain them right away, then they don't travel. They're really statically, so they want to get on your clothes, on your shoes. If you have a pet, they like to stick to them, and then they travel everywhere. This way, they all stay where they're supposed to, and I can just dump them all out at once. All right. And honestly, I have spent too much time trying to decide if there's a direction for this paper, and I don't think there really is. So I just kind of went with where I wanted that red. And what I do want to do, though, is when I put it on here, I want to cover up that center part that is not embossed. like so. Then just a bit of bling, and there's the perfect bling in this suite. It is called Traditional Sparkling Sequins, and it's flat. So I can use the larger ones because it's not going to add any weight or any height to my card. And look at all those colors. I've been playing with the gold, but you could go with the red, but I think I'm going to stay with the gold. But before I do that, maybe it was just angle. I thought I'd put this on kind of really crooked, but once I have the card straight, it doesn't look so crooked. So we're going to leave it. All right. And then I like to do my embellishments in odd numbers. On a card, it's typically 3. And when I do 3, I do them in a roughly triangular shape, which just means one of my embellishments is hanging out by itself and the other 2 are closer together. Look, how easy was that to make that card? Now, I'm not going to stamp the Merry Christmas because I think some of my customers were right. I might need some birthday cards. And if I get this far and decide I need it for Christmas, I can just add the Christmas. So I have some choices. I have a scrap left over, and once I stamp it, I'm going to add that 1/2 inch piece at the top. It's going to make all the difference. So instead of having white, which is fine, and stamped, I have white stamped, and look at that touch. It's a 1/2 inch scrap of paper you probably would have thrown away. So I'm not going to stamp now because I don't know if it gets to be a birthday card or a Christmas card, but I do know it's not going out in a naked envelope. So let's grab our envelope. I have a 2 1/4 by 6 inch piece. This kind of paper is perfect for an envelope flap because it's really going to catch your attention. And you know, someone's getting a pile of Christmas cards, or we hope they do. We hope everyone gets a pile of Christmas cards or any cards at any time. And isn't it fun when your card stands out because the envelope looks so enticing, they want to open your card first. And I'm going to just push that against the fold, and then we're going to trim it. And again, the suite I'm using, or the paper, is from Traditions of Christmas. There's a lot to look at that suite. If you don't have that new September to December mini catalog, can I say you're missing out? It's filled with products I love. Reach out to your Stampin' Up demonstrator and ask how you can get a catalog. If you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, just message me or reply. If you're on my Sunday night email, just reply to that email and I'd be happy to get you a catalog. There we go. Look at that. Whoops, we'll get that. That's my inside piece that's sticking out there looking a little funny. We'll get that out of the picture. How is that? Easy peasy Christmas card, which really delivers a lot of impact. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.